I'm Cordelia Colt, but you can call me Cora. I'm playing more Holocure today. Now, I've kind of been grinding a little bit. A little bit. Since last time. Which, obviously, you know, I don't really know what I'm gonna spend that money on. I don't really... I'm level 20 with all characters as I managed last time, and I have all the upgrades. I don't really... I mean, I could do a challenge mode, I guess, but... That's very difficult, that's very hard. I could try. You know what? Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're doing today. Okay, sure. Probably gonna be a string of very short games, and I am not sure how long I want to go today. I feel... I don't know, I'm a little sleepy, I think. Generally, I think Sauna's pretty good for this sort of mode. And if we're doing endless, I think my only shot is Grassy Plains. I think this isn't gonna work on any other stage, honestly. I also just need to hear that sweet music again. Oh, it's so good, it's so good. Spider cooking is really good for this kind of thing, I think. Now I feel like I want Area of Effect really fast, and I also want... Does Dakimakura work in this mode? Or is it, like, nullified? I feel like it probably works, right? Because Pikapiman is obviously useless. Is it better to literally just... I think that might be the play. I don't know. This is not a mode I've explored much, so I'm not fully comfortable with it. I am going to die. I'm not gonna make it. That's... Like, this is not gonna be a perfect run. Definitely not. Health is obviously useless, but speed is incredibly useful. This mode, you're also obviously gonna... It shifts the balance massively, right? Tremendously. You definitely want the syringe if you can get it. In this mode, it's just an obvious thing, I feel. The energy drink, obviously you also want that. Mask, again, all the drawbacks are nullified because your, like, damage does not matter. If you take any damage, you're dead. So a lot of these items just become a lot better suddenly. And they are... Body pillow. We have to try, right? So I have a bar now. If this works, it's... like... Seems like such an obvious item to take, if that works. Gives you a very comfortable safety buffer, right? That's... just incredibly powerful. If it does work. I'm not gonna test that recklessly, but I don't know. I'll get hit at some point, and I'll try to notice. I'll try to notice. Do we care about collabs when we're doing this? Yes, obviously, but do we focus them? Or do we focus on surviving? No clue. No clue. Honestly, don't know. Speed is just really good, but a shield, if that shield works, it is worth its weight in gold. Works. That's great. Okay, gravity is pretty good. It is pretty good. The only thing I don't like about it is it kind of... Like, it's powerful, it just... It's slightly hard to control, I guess. Because it just happens and everyone dies, you can't really direct it, or... Well, I guess that applies to a lot of items. I just feel like I don't have the kind of control I want when I use that. That makes sense? I don't know. I don't know. Headphones, that probably also good, right? Chance to negate a hit. They always make me kind of sad though. If you know where they're from, what they're a reference to, they're kind of tragic. You know, stuff happens. That's just how the world is sometimes. But hey, she's back! Have you heard? She's back. She has a new channel. She's doing very well, by the sense of it. She sounds really excited to be back in the game. Although, you know, not in the place she thought she would be. I hope she thrives. I hope she thrives. Because she deserves it after what happened. Shit. Shit. I don't want to think about it too much. So I guess I'm going for elite cooking. That's short. I mean, if you can increase your area of effect and you get elite cooking, that's a very powerful combination, obviously. And here they are. I'm obviously gonna have to use the big special power to get out of it. Unless... Oh man, I had the damage to deal with that. Okay, nice. I'm just so nervous, you know? I survived 4.5 minutes on 1 health. And a little bit of shield, obviously, but still, it's kind of nerve-wracking. It's kind of nerve-wracking. Even if it's Sana, even if she is very well suited for this specific kind of thing, keeping enemies at a distance is kind of her entire playstyle, I feel. She is... How do I put this? She's not crowd control in the same way that someone like Sora is, but she's definitely like a kind of crowd control because of her like huge area of effect thing. That really does give you a lot of control over positioning. Well, not positioning necessarily, but helps you keep your distance, and that it is useful. I feel like she's weaker now, though, than she used to be. Is that just me? Oh, I'm standing right on top of an enemy right now. There we go, a little bit of distance. Nice. Yeah, look at that spider cooking, it's huge. This is honestly going surprisingly well. I didn't know if I was... You know, I'm not always in, like, gamer mode. And I don't know if I'm... I feel like I haven't really demonstrated, like, a perfect gamer mode yet, but I'm definitely feeling better than I was afraid of. And that's nice. Some days you're just not on, you know? Some days you are. Even if you haven't slept well, and even if everything's kind of lined up, like stacked up against you, sometimes you're just gonna have a good day despite everything. And it rocks. Ugh, love it when that happens. Cutting board. A cutting board I would imagine is very good in this mode, but Sana specifically, I don't know. Maybe? I'm not saying she wouldn't benefit from it, but I feel like she has her bases covered a little bit. So I don't feel like that's necessary. Maybe? A little bit of knockback. It's great. It's great. Whoa. Don't get careless. It's only 7 minutes. We've only come 7 minutes into it. It's not like this is a one game yet. Absolutely not. I cannot afford to get cocky or arrogant. But I am feeling pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I am feeling pretty good. I guess it might be because I've played this game a lot lately, and I haven't really been playing on easy mode. I've kind of been grinding hard mode a lot. Which is probably why this feels relatively simple so far. It's a Coco, obvious. But now we have a shield that's gonna decrease. But it is just really good. It's just, yeah, we have to take it. And it's not doing anything. Oh, because it does a certain percentage of your health. Ah, and I only have 1 health, so it does 0. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. That's how you win this. That's how you win this. Face mask, obviously we're also taking that. So my hope is that I get strong enough that no enemy can get close enough for anything to happen. And at that point I'm just safe. But we'll see. We'll see. Might not work out. That's fine. I'm prepared for defeat, but I think I'm cautiously optimistic right now. God, I can just mow through these. Not even really meant to be defeated. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of damage right now. I'm doing a lot of damage. I have room for one more item. What would I like? If I got a free choice out of anything, what would I like? Do I want to go defensive or offensive? I have 2 of the strongest offensive passives already. Piki Piki P-Man obviously doesn't do anything right now, because I'm not planning on taking any damage. Does it count? Body pillow damage? If it does, it might be worth taking, but honestly I still don't. I don't use my special that much. I'm still not very good at that, but honestly, in this mode, with Sana specifically, I feel like that is actually kind of a good thing. I feel like that actually works in my favor because I'm always gonna have it ready for an emergency if I get it completely surrounded, cornered, put in an impossible situation. I can kind of just go invulnerable for a second. So maybe that is actually the right call right now. Piki Piki Pimon is definitely out though. Holo? I don't know. It's kind of late for that now. I'm not really grinding for coins, but I don't really think coins do anything anymore for me. Are you not firing at me? Did she get debuffed? Chicken feather. That's honestly interesting. 50 HP, 50% HP. That actually sounds really good here. We're doing that, yeah. Though I would imagine that any scenario where I'm defeated, it's because I'm cornered, but if it takes out all the current enemy, yeah, that might be worth it. That might actually be really good for this mode. That might actually be really good. I've never used it before. I've actually never used it before, so I don't know. I should be thinking about what my next move is, though, because I have one collab ready and one halfway done. Do I want the potatoes, maybe? Or... that's probably really good. Potatoes are probably actually, like the rap dog, it's probably really good with the increased area of effect. So that's what we're aiming for, I guess. Ah, milk. Milk would have been a good one. Of course milk would have been great. Of course milk would have been great. It's kind of obvious in retrospect, but yeah. If I die. If/when I die. Is the feather consumed? Do I get that slot back? Or do I not? Because if I do, then I still have... it's still possible for me to get the milk, which is probably a really good call. Unless... it's probably a really good call. That would have been the correct choice, yeah. And that's not even, like, yeah, that's just the right call. If I understand. Yeah. If you can get, like, the hyper extra super special milk, the kind of upgraded one. Yeah. Oh well. It is what it is, I guess. It's just one run. Potato, yes. Fantastic. Now I have the things I want. For the time being, at least. Fruit. And... yeah, this is gonna be fine. This is gonna be fine. This is gonna be fine. Absolutely fine. You know, I struggled a lot with those early on, and there are still a couple patterns I don't fully have perfect control over. Oh. Oh, you can upgrade the feather. I did not know that. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I struggled a lot with the dodge patterns at first. But honestly, I feel like I have improved very significantly from when I first started playing this game. I can kind of dodge now. I can kind of weave a little bit, at least through the preset patterns. I think it's because I've been playing on hard mode, but just a lot of those patterns are very easy for me now. Well, I say that, I still get hit by them, you know, but at least I have like a consistency, I feel. That's interesting. I've never been very good at dodging in video games. That's always been one of my weaknesses. Has always been one of the things I've struggled with in any kind of game, honestly. I don't know, it's nice to see improvement. Especially when I set my mind to it. I will say though that there is one part of like the final stage on the hard mode stage, Dark Forest, when right before Bay shows up, right before that, you get like a bunch of owls and a giant bomb in a little cage. I have such a hard time dodging that. That is such a hard thing for me to dodge whatsoever. I don't know. It's very difficult. I find that hard. I can do owls normally, I feel, but those specific owls are hard. I don't know what it is about them, and they get you so fast as well. That's the thing, right? It's very easy to die right before you get to the boss, and I still haven't fully figured it out, I guess. Or like, I don't have it in my fingers yet, at least. You know, I know in theory astrology is really good. I just... the randomness of it just... I don't know. It feels hard for me to take. It feels... I don't want... Right? I don't want... that kind of randomness, just... unpredictability. It doesn't feel like you're gaining a temporary buff. It feels like you're getting debuffs randomly, right? I don't know. It's hard to get used to, I guess. It is good though. I know that technically it is a good... It's just one of those, like I mentioned how I have a problem with the movement-based ones. I have a hard time playing Kiara, I have a hard time playing Asuki, I have a kind of a hard time playing Kabuki as well, though I feel she's a little different, but... Oh, I took some damage there. But... I don't know. Some abilities are just harder for me to get used to than others. Some of them just feel weird. Or bad, or make me play worse just because I'm kind of aware that I have an ability that does something if X. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe I should just... I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to get out of my own head about that stuff. Because I feel like I have to kind of try to analyze this game at least a little bit when I'm playing. That's how I like to play games. I really enjoy analyzing. I feel like that's what I do best. I don't feel like my muscle memory is great. I don't feel like I'm much of a gamer in other ways, but analysis I can kind of do. Kind of. Sitting down and just thinking about it for a second. Now that does not mean I'm good at strategy games. You might think so, but no, absolutely not. Some strategy games just absolutely don't work for me. I don't know why. I have a real hard time planning ahead, is the thing. I can analyze the situation, I can analyze character strengths and stuff, but predicting how stuff is gonna go, it just does not work for me. Like, probably the worst game for me ever is chess, because it just melts my mind. I just start like going into this extreme analysis mode where I have to like try to predict every single possible outcome all the time, and like I have to think 3 steps ahead all for like every single possible step. But I'm not like good at chess. I don't know how to kind of filter out bad moves, so I end up just trying to analyze literally every single possible move, and chess is just not a game you can do that with. Tic-tac-toe? Yeah, that works. You can solve tic-tac-toe in your head if you want to. That is a solvable game. You can figure out every single board state, and by doing that you can kind of ensure that you'll at least earn a draw. But chess, yeah, no, that's just not within human brain capacity. So what ends up happening is I kind of overheat for a round or two where I just am in like analysis paralysis, and then my brain just overheats and goes, no, short circuit, we're not gonna do that. It just pulls the emergency shutdown, and I just literally can't think anymore. And at that point it's not even a game, it's just me moving pieces. Right? At that point I literally just can't think about strategy anymore whatsoever. It's just kind of sucks. It kind of sucks, but like, yeah, I don't know. Chess is hard. I feel like I could get really good at chess if I really wanted to. I feel like I could. I feel like that is a potential I have. But I feel like I might be a little old, but like, not too old to get good at it, but I'm probably too good. Well, I'm probably too old to get... No, I'm not. I'm not too old. I don't like that. I don't like that philosophy, actually. But... I could probably get really good at chess if I really wanted to, but every time I try it, it's just a nightmare. It's just absolute overload, and I just cannot deal with it whatsoever. Which sucks, because I have a lot of friends who like chess. And anytime I play, it's just nothing. It is what it is, I guess. Playing endless mode, right? Yeah. Similar to chess, I have I played Yakuza 0 a little bit. I didn't beat it yet, but I've tried it. It's really good. In that game, there's this, what's it called? Shogi? Shogi? I think it's Shogi. It's kind of similar to chess. I don't want to say it's the same because it's not, but it's like my brain handles it in a very similar way, I feel. My brain goes into the same kind of mode. But it's even worse because it's not a game I'm even a little bit familiar with, so I could not beat that minigame even a little bit. I couldn't beat it on any difficulty. I struggled a lot. Which is frustrating, right? Because I'm used to my brain being, like, capable, I guess. I'm used to being able to figure out answers and to figure stuff out, but those kinds of games, I just can't. Like, I have not learned how to handle that. I have not learned how to handle that, and I don't. Same thing with like any kind of strategy game on a computer, like Civilization, for example. Really hard game for me to play. I played Civ 5 for a bit. It's 5, right? And like I think it's cool. I really like the concept. I really feel like I would love to get into it, but I have a really hard time beating that game because I don't know. Strategy is just hard for me. Strategy is just hard for me. It's hard for me to pick a plan and stick with it, and it's hard for me to kind of... Yeah, I don't know. That's not a thing I'm good at, sadly. But that's fine, you know. Some things you're not going to be good at, I guess. And I could practice, right? I could definitely practice if I wanted to, but it's not that important. I mean, I feel like planning ahead would be a good thing to be able to do, but I honestly feel like my brain is better under pressure, right? My brain is better, like, any decision I make spontaneously, any kind of thing I just come up with on the fly, or like in a very, very, very short amount of time comparatively, I feel like those are always my best decisions. I feel like the things I make quickly are always kind of better. I don't know if there's any reason for that. I feel like I'm just one of those kinds of people. And then there are obviously people who are really good planners, but not necessarily good at other stuff. I mean, we're different. I mean, intelligence is a very broad thing, right? Lots of kinds of intelligence, and everyone's not going to have every kind. Though you can definitely practice. I feel like that's the thing people don't... I feel like that's kind of de-emphasized. I feel like intelligence is very... I feel like people are very prone to, like, essentialize intelligence, like it's as fundamental as height. Like it's just who you are and immutable and nothing you can do about it, right? And to a certain extent, yeah, sure, it's... Like, yeah, some people have an easier time learning stuff. Some people have like a natural inclination towards stuff. Some people are very visual. That lends itself to solving certain kinds of problems, and some people are very language-based, and that lends itself very well to other kinds of problems. I'm very language-based, but I have been very deliberately practicing my visualization for a while now, and it genuinely does help a lot with a lot of things that I used to struggle with. Being able to just see it in my mind, and having that be just an innate part of how I approach a lot of problems, that is very useful. That is very useful. Took a while to get there, but it is very useful. But not everyone can do that. Some people literally can't. Some people literally do not have the ability to visualize. And you know what can you do then? You can't learn a tool you literally can't access, right? Because while I've always been more of a language person, I've always had the ability to visualize, right? That's not a thing I've been lacking, it's just a thing I didn't do much. It's just a thing I didn't really do. So me deliberately sitting down and choosing over and over and over and over the course of years to get better at it, that was... Like, I didn't have to start from scratch. I didn't have to start from nothing. I had the ability to do it, I just didn't instinctually reach for it that much. But if you can't... And like, certain senses are more difficult to kind of emulate in your mind, I think. I think a lot of people... Where did I read this? I don't want to spread this if this is unreliable. Was it... I think Tom Scott did a video with that... How weird are you? Where he asked a bunch of questions. And I think one of those questions was... whether or not you have a hard time visualizing and whether or not you have a hard time like triggering other senses in your mind, like taste or smell or whatever. I think. And I believe the results were that it's very common to find that harder, which I get. I understand that. Visuals come to me very naturally, and tastes and smells, like, I do get those in my mind. A lot, but not as much. And it's also harder to use those for processing information in the same way. It's like, sometimes I hear a word and it kind of has a taste a little bit. I know that's kind of synesthesia or something, but like, it's interesting, it's fun, I'm glad that it's like that for me, but it's also one of those things where like, visualizing that has a use. You can very easily do stuff with visualization, right? You can visualize charts and diagrams, and you can make schematics, and you can construct things in your head. You can plan out outfits. You can... Like, I remember when I was learning trigonometry in like high school or middle school or whatever, whenever I had trigonometry for the first time, like really properly had trigonometry. I remember I kind of struggled with it a little bit. I remember I had a little bit of a hard time. And then I kind of visualized the unit circle and sine wave and cosine waves as like this diagram or this animation or whatever, and doing that, it suddenly became very intuitive, right? It suddenly became very easy to understand how all the things were connected. And I know a lot of like math YouTube channels use visualizations to kind of help people who are good at that with dealing with math. And it's such a powerful tool if you learn how to use it, and if you are one of the people who are able to use it. But taste and smell, how would you apply that to math? Visualization? That's easy. Taste? How do you do that? How do you do that? You can maybe assign a taste to every prime. Maybe that would help. Well, smell is very closely tied to memory, isn't it? Sometimes you get a smell and you're just instantly transported back to the most specific, like hyper-specific memory ever. And you remember it with perfect clarity if you get like a whiff of the right smell. Maybe that's it. I've never thought about that before. You might be because I've definitely heard like the old study tip, like if you have to study for something, if you have to remember something at a specific time, then you go out, you buy a pack of gum in a flavor you're not used to, and then when you need to remember it, you chew that gum, right? You chew it when you're learning, and you chew it when you're trying to remember. And it kind of helps because of the whole smell, taste thing. That might be really useful. Because if you can just make smells in your mind, that might be enough. That might actually be enough. Huh. That might be a very powerful way to... Huh. Alright, you know what? I take it back. Those things can be useful, I think. Those things could probably be very useful. If you're just a little clever with how you apply them. Huh. Well, And I just won. I just won. Are we aiming for 200,000? Is that a decent goal, you think? Yeah, you know what? We're trying. We're trying. 200,000. And then we can do 1,000,000 gachas. For no reason, because we've already unlocked everything we care about, honestly. I have all the outfits, I don't know what else there is, even. So last time I played Gura, Bay, Mio? Was it Mio I played? And... no, Miko. Yeah, Miko, Bay, Gura, and one of the gamers. I think it was Mio. Yeah, because Mio and Miko, yeah. Yeah, I think that was it. Now I've done Sana. Can do another gamer. Akai is probably not going to be great in hardcore, because her whole thing is healing based and like food based. Fubuki might be great. She might be. Corona has resistance and healing, so she's probably not a great choice. If I only have 1 health anyways, it doesn't matter how much resistance I have. Unless it's 100. Healing doesn't matter. Fubuki might be the choice here. Shirogami or Kurogami? I like Shirogami, honestly. I mean, obviously everyone loves Kurogami, but I love Shirogami as well. Okay, we're trying Office. Now, this is, again, I have very little faith that I'll be able to do this. I absolutely am gonna need a body pillow. If I'm gonna have any chance. Plushie? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Bandage? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Piki Piki Piman? Doesn't matter. So we're going CEO Tears, which is a good item. I like CEO Tears. I like the evolutions as well, even though I really prefer the item in itself. Fox King, yes. See, she has that movement thing, but it's not the same, right? Because you don't have to keep moving all the time. It's not a bonus that resets or scales or anything. It's just, are you moving? Yes? Then you get the bonus. Are you not moving? No? Like, then you don't get it, right? It's a little bit easier to deal with, I feel. Cutting board? Yeah. Cutting board is fun. Also, I have a tendency to just look at the screen far too much and get distracted and lose. Might happen. Don't know. Board. Speed by 15%. We definitely want sports drink. Are there any other speed boosts? Any other speed boosts? I don't know. Are there? I can't seem to fully... I mean, I'm not planning on taking damage, so this is just crit chance for free until I die, right? A lot of these items are just better now that I can't take damage. Which, I mean, obviously, the run is harder overall, but still. Oh, that was... Ooh, that was uncomfortably close. I didn't mean to do that. That's the problem, right? You blink and you're dead. You blink once and you're absolutely just gone. It is what it is. It is. That's such a non-thing to say though, isn't it? It is what it is. Yeah, obviously it is. It couldn't have been anything other than what it is. It's just such a non-expression. It is what it is. Coco and Marusha, right after each other. Oh, and Polka, oh my god. Polka. Oh. That girl is ridiculous. I have a lot of admiration for Polka. She is very good at what she does. She is very good at what she does. That's not to say that other Holo Pro talents aren't, but Polka's just... she's really good. She's really good. She's really good at the whole comedian thing. I wish I spoke more Japanese because I feel like a lot of it is just flying over my head. The few things I do understand are great though. Dead. But yeah. Yeah. She's... I have a lot of feelings. Normal feelings though, I hope. I think we're going back to the plains and we're going Roboco. Yeah, I've been trying to learn Japanese, which I mean, you know, it's a language, it takes time. I can't expect for it to just happen overnight. And it's not the first language I've learned, obviously not. I'm not speaking my native language right now, so, you know. But it is the first time I've learned a language that is so different from my native one and from any other ones I know. I have like a basic sort of familiarity with European languages in general, and that I feel like if you gave me any like Germanic language, I would be able to pick it up. I feel like that. That might be a little bit of an arrogant thing to say, but like I honestly feel like I get Germanic structure and general vocabulary well enough at this point that I could probably learn a Germanic language really quickly at this point if I really focused. If I really focused, I don't know. But like, that's the thing though, you need a reason to learn the language. You need to have some sort of anchor, and VTubers are a really good anchor to Japanese. You know, that's why a lot of like anime enthusiasts get into Japanese. It's because like it's a very natural, like anime is in Japanese, and it's just a very natural fit, right? And VTubers, I feel like, are probably a little bit of a better gateway because you're getting natural Japanese instead of the like weird anime Japanese. It's just like famously not how people speak generally, though obviously varies by anime. Some are a lot more accurate, I've heard. And then you've got dialects, which honestly I love. I love dialects, I love accents, I love regional differences and hyper-local, like yeah, all that stuff is just really fun. I particularly love the dialect of Aomori. It's Aomori, right? The northern parts of Japan. It's just a fun dialect, right? It's just a fun dialect. I love that one. Kansai dialect is also pretty good, I feel. Also, like, it's also one of those things that I try to be very cognizant of when I watch Holocure talents, because I know that, for example, Roberto has like a very obvious Kansai dialect, and if you learn Japanese through him, you might just end up picking that up, right? And you should at least be aware that you're picking up a weird regional accent. Well, not weird, it's not like... It's one of the more popular ones, I feel, but still. Still, it's not like how you expect a foreigner to speak. Like, if you're learning Japanese, you're not... Like, it makes sense if you're learning, like, Tokyo Japanese, but... learning Kansai Japanese, yeah, that's... Right. I love dialects. Now, the thing about a language as well, right? You have to have a reason, but I feel like you also have to have like some natural exposure. I feel like flashcards are really useful, and grammar drills are really useful and stuff. But what you actually need, what actually makes you learn the language, is just exposure to the actual thing. You need to actually just be around the language in its normal form. And you can start out simple, absolutely, but I feel like you have to read like something. You have to read something in Japanese consistently, even if that is just very simple children's manga or children's books or whatever. If that's just listening to some very simple podcast, like, you have to use it naturally, consistently. Because if you don't, it's like... If you're just doing vocabulary, yeah, sure, you'll learn a lot of vocabulary, and you might even be able to pick it out when someone speaks, but that's not the same as learning a language. That's just preparation, right? That's just preparation for learning the language. That's the thing you do before. That's the thing you have to do before you learn it properly. I feel like that's why Vesper's idea of like translating tweets is so good. Such a good idea, because he gets context, right? He doesn't just sit down and read words. He doesn't just sit down and do Duolingo. No, he sits down and he figures out the context. Why did this person tweet this? What is this tweet about? Where did it come from? Why did Fuma tweet about this thing? What does it mean? Can we kind of infer the situation surrounding it? Can we infer the context? And yes, he can, generally. And he gets a few words out of it, right? It does become a little bit of vocabulary. It becomes a little bit of grammar. He learns a couple particles, he reinforces everything he learned, and he gets more familiar with some kanji, which is obviously crucial and very scary, but honestly, kanji aren't that bad. Kanji are not as bad as people think they are. I don't, like, my kanji is very basic at the moment, but I know enough that I can read some tweets, right? I follow a lot of the Holopro talents and like VTubers in general on Twitter, and as such my Twitter timeline is kind of very Japanese at the moment. And at first that was kind of just a wall of text I felt like I couldn't read, but as I've kind of just kept trying to translate them and kept trying to like, anytime a tweet looks interesting, I've been looking up the words, the kanji and everything in a dictionary, an online dictionary, and I'm not going to specify which one. I don't know if that matters, but I'm not going to say it, I don't think. And, you know, it does stick after a while, right? For example, the word for stream, haishin. Haishin, that stuck immediately because it is everywhere. When you follow a lot of streamers, you will see that word. You will see that word. It is inescapable. And that's good, right? That's exactly what you want, because now I just know what that word is, right? And suddenly that's a little piece of Twitter, just like, now I just see that and I just know how to read it. And it's not scary anymore. And like, the more I do that, the more I kind of understand the structure of kanji, and the more I kind of come to realize that, yeah, sure, I have to learn a lot. But it is learnable, right? It's that thing in June, I think. The first step to learning something is kind of believing that you are capable of learning it. And kanji seems like one of those things like, oh, you need thousands to read even a single newspaper, right? And it seems absurd and difficult and weird and like you'd never be able to do that, but you know, there's literally not a single language, not a single living language on Earth that a baby can't speak, right? If you're 3 years old and you can speak a language, then you can speak a language as an adult. And that's not to say that babies are dumb and adults are smarter, and that means that every adult should be able to do everything a baby does, but it does kind of help, I feel, knowing that like very small kids are able to use this language. You're not dealing with something a human can't learn. You're just dealing with something you find hard, right? And things can be hard, but it's not unlearnable, right? It's not like you see one of those virtuoso performances like a prodigy at an instrument. You know, those 2-year-olds who play the piano incredibly well, write sonnets and symphonies and whatever. That's like unbelievably like talent. Like that is incredible. And you can't expect to do that because you're like, if you are watching that video and you're comprehending it, you're not 2 years old anymore. But barring that, like, learning a language is a human achievement, right? It's just a thing humans can do. Even if you've never done it before, you might find it hard, but it is definitely a thing humans just are capable of, right? It's just a thing we can do. It's not beyond you. And I feel like that is true of kanji as well. Yeah, it takes a while and there are a lot of them, and yeah, it's a project, and yeah, it takes time. You're not gonna get it instantly. It's probably gonna be a little bit unintuitive if you're not familiar with that kind of writing system, but it is learnable. You can't just sit down and like give up because it seems hard and it seems like you couldn't possibly learn it, because you can. You can. People have learned it. Like, people have been learning this system for a long time. It's been in use for a while. And that's not random, right? That's not random. It's not like Japanese people are weirdly backwards about their language or anything. No, they use it for a reason, and that reason is because it is learnable. You can learn it, and you should if you're trying to learn Japanese, because reading is such a powerful learning tool. I've been reading like news articles every day. I find like a really short one, and it's written for kids basically, and it's written with furigana, so I don't have to look up all the kanji all the time. I can kind of just read through it. But the thing about furigana is, if you take care. And if you try to just pay attention to the kanji as well as the furigana, if you try to like pay attention in both directions at once, so to speak, that stuff will stick. It will. It will. Furigana is really good. It's like training wheels, basically, right? You shouldn't be using it forever because everything doesn't have furigana. But when you're just starting out, if you are being deliberate about it, if you are like approaching it with some sort of intention of learning, it's very possible to learn. It is. And it's a very good tool. It's a very useful tool. And sometimes you're gonna see furigana and you're not gonna know what the word is anyways. That's fine. What I like to do is I like to read through the entire article with furigana, and then I translate the article. Like I spend a second, I think to myself, okay, what roughly do I think this was about? And it's like always gonna be like a rough estimate. And sometimes I stumble over a more technical article and I really don't have much of an answer. And sometimes I stumble over something very simple and I basically understood the whole thing. That's gonna happen, right? When you're dealing with natural spoken language. Sometimes you're gonna get something in a technical field that you don't understand, or like, yeah. But like I spent a couple seconds, a minute maybe, just kind of thinking about it. What was this about? What did I just read? And then I pop it into the translator and I check. Was I close? Was I far off? Do I think the translator's wrong? Do I think the translator's good? Is the translation error like usable? Sometimes there aren't. Sometimes it's like obvious that the translation's not gonna work. Sometimes it does make a lot of sense. Sometimes translating works, I feel. And I feel like I can basically tell when it does and when it doesn't. And I feel like I have enough of a grasp on like the specific Japanisms that tend to get mistranslated that I can kind of tell. Kind of a little bit. That might be a little arrogant of me to assume that I know. But I'm not gonna say I always know, but I feel like I have enough of a grasp of it for it to be useful, at least. So when I've translated it, sometimes I end it there, right? That's like 5-10 minutes of work. A little reading, a little thinking, a little just exposure to Japanese, and a little like reading some news. Which I don't really do much because, you know, my mental health is bad enough as it is, honestly. Reading news is not always great, but like news specifically made for kids, that stuff tends to not be as depressing. As I can kind of deal with it a little better, I guess. Yeah. It's the reason, like, I used to have a Twitter, and then it just really destroyed me. It really killed me. Like, my mental health got so much worse while I was on Twitter. But then, one day I just cold turkey, I just stopped using it, and I felt a lot better. Now, obviously I've kind of gone back in with a new account and with like a new set of people that I'm following. And I feel like I kind of understand a little bit better how to curate my own experience of Twitter, right? Certain kinds of people you should just not interact with. Even if they generally post good stuff, there are like certain kinds of things that you just stay away from. And I feel like VTubers in general, pretty good. Pretty good experience of Twitter. I follow basically just VTubers and a couple other things like Brendan Lee Mulligan and Dropout and stuff. Like that kind of thing. And it's good. It's just good. It's just good. You know? Way better than it used to be because, you know, Twitter. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about it, but yeah. I'm feeling a lot better with the way I'm using Twitter this time around. I feel like it's a lot more healthy. Which is what it's all about, honestly. And if it gets bad again, I'll just delete it again, I guess. I don't really... Like, I enjoy being able to watch a lot of fan art and a lot of, like, announcements and stuff. That's really neat. That's really nice. And I feel like it's the correct way to do it. But if it gets bad, and it might get bad, I'll see if I can fix it, and if it seems unfixable, I'll just delete it again. I don't know. I used to think it was just a flat-out bad website, but now I think there is a correct way to use it. I think. And I did not understand that at the time, but now I do. But again, you don't really owe anyone social media. You don't need to have that. You don't... Like, if you don't want social media, you don't have to have that. You don't... You really don't. I know it feels like kind of an obligation nowadays. I have to kind of periodically just remind myself that, no, if I'm not enjoying it, I can just step away. And it is an addiction, absolutely. It is one of those things that you just... It's very hard. It can be very hard to put away. But it's not like a social necessity either. It's not like a thing you need. It's not like a thing you have to do. It's not like eating, right? You don't owe anyone social media presence. And that's a very good thing for me to keep reminding myself of, because, yeah, it gets bad. It gets bad. Sometimes. Yeah, I'm enjoying Twitter a lot more now. And I'm glad. Because fan art is neat. And most people post that on Twitter. I wish there was more of a variety in platforms people like to use, but it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. I use Reddit. I haven't used Reddit in a while, though. And it's such a different, like, the way Reddit is structured, it just kind of changes the kind of content on there a lot. I used to be really into Reddit. Man, I used to be really into Reddit a while back, but again, I just noticed that I wasn't having fun with it anymore, and then I just stopped. I still have the account. I still check in. Like, I have started recently checking back in every now and then, but I don't know, man. It's social media. I have thoughts. I don't think it's all bad, but man, it would be better with some changes. There are some things we could do to make it better, and the current state of the world isn't really facilitating that. That sucks. That sucks. That sucks a lot. You know, things will always be like that, right? Things change, things change. Platforms die, platforms disappear, and then you find new ones, and nothing will ever be the same as it was in whatever golden age you think you remember. Just how it is. It's just the world. Have to get comfortable with that change, and I don't think I'm old enough to really know what that means yet, but I have definitely experienced, like, you know, when you're on the internet for a while, you find something, and it matters to you, and it, like, changes you as a person, and then you go back to try find it, and then it's just gone. And I hate that. It has happened so many times. It happens so many times. The internet is a library that is burning. It is disappearing. Everything is just disintegrating. I appreciate any kind of archival effort so much because it's just bad. It just gets bad, you know? There are so few things that suck more than knowing that you can never access a piece of art that was important to you again. And I mean, that doesn't mean the thing wasn't important. Like, the thing still matters, even if it's not around anymore. It still matters, even if you only got to experience it that once, but man, I wish the internet was better at keeping these things around. I get so sad thinking about it. If you go back on your liked YouTube videos and you see all those that disappeared, how many of those were frivolous nothings, right? Some of them probably, some of them were just things that made me laugh. Some of them though, some of them were really good. Some of them changed me as a person. Some of them are like things I can still quote, and it just sucks so much that those things aren't around anymore. Archival is important. I believe that. Very sincerely, I believe that. Archival is important. I mean, the internet is such a vast arena of content. It's so big. Obviously, like, if you're gonna back up everything, that's a lot of backups, you know? You can't. So you have to prioritize, but just, it sucks. Because anything could potentially mean a lot to someone else. Any, like, silly little 2-minute comic you did might really change someone's life. I know that sounds like one of those sappy, like everything matters, but like it does. It does. I've seen very, like, quick and dirty, no thought, head empty kind of pieces of art that just somehow spoke to me so profoundly, and you just never know what is going to do that for someone else. You just never know. Makes me sad. It makes me sad, but it also makes me happy that these things existed at least at one point. And I mean, you can't keep these things forever, obviously. Everything changes, and that means that stuff disappears as well. And eventually, the universe is probably gonna die in heat death, right? Probably. Obviously, we don't know, but I've definitely looked enough at thermodynamics that I get it, right? I get it. seems hard to argue with. Seems hard to argue with. There is a sadness in that, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to hold on to things for a while. I think having happened is more important than it lasting forever, because nothing does, but you still want it to last for a bit. You still want it to have the chance to receive the recognition you feel it deserves. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. You can just feel a little bit. Yeah. You know. You know, there are good projects, there are good, like, efforts trying to conserve as much as possible, and that, I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that, and I do appreciate, like, physical media storage. I really... Like, I bought a DVD player recently. I'm kind of into movies. I don't know if I've talked about it on stream before, but I'm really into movies. And, like, a lot of stuff you can find, right, online, but a lot of stuff you can't. A lot of, like, I like obscure stuff. Stuff you won't find on Netflix, right? And I mean, it doesn't take much for it not to be on Netflix or whatever. Like, the stuff I'm into movies that are so obscure that, like, you genuinely can't even order a DVD, right? But having a DVD player has been a huge help. It does increase my access to this hobby that I so dearly enjoy. And I appreciate that. There are a couple movies, though. Do you get that? Do you get that? Ever? Because I have, like, a couple of white whales when it comes to movies. I have a couple movies that I really want to watch. That I just do not even know where to start. There's this one. I believe it's called Auran Kotolu? Something like that. It's Finnish. It's a science fiction movie from the 70s, from Finland, and I read the description of it, and it just seems right up my alley, but I have no clue where to find it. I have literally no clue where to find it. Is it a DVD? Is it a VHS? Do I have to get a VHS player to get that movie? I will. I fucking will. If that's what's necessary, right? I really want to watch that movie, but I have no clue where to find it. Like, I have seriously considered traveling to Finland. I have seriously considered just taking a trip to Finland, but I still wouldn't even really know where to go, right? I can go to Helsinki. Do they have any, like, obscure movie, like, collector shops or anything? So that doesn't feel like something you'd find in every single city, right? There might be. There might be. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like going to Finland wouldn't solve my problem, right? Because even in Finland, this is a movie from the 70s and it's sci-fi, and it's like not... It's not a huge, famous movie. It's like... Yeah. I'm also, like, into Japanese horror. I really like, for example, Tokyo Gore Police, or The Machine Girl, or Mutant Girl Squad. You know, those movies? I really like Tokyo Gore Police specifically. It's just so fucking fun. It's just such a fun movie. I love it with my whole heart. I just... that movie's so fun. That movie is so fun. But you can't always find all of those, right? I know there are definitely more of those on my list that I haven't seen yet. And I just... I see more of those. But I'd have to travel to Japan to get them. Because many of these you just can't find online. I have this one specific one. I don't know if I'm... Yeah, I'll just say it. There's this movie called Sukeban Boy. It's based on a manga, I think. And this is a live-action adaptation of it. And I've read kind of the summary. It seems right up my alley. It seems right up my alley. But like, the only version I can find online goes for like $100, and that is... Like, I am willing to pay that, I think, because I do really want to watch that movie. I do. Like, I have... But as a hobby, this gets so expensive so quickly, you know? And I feel like if I'm gonna do something like that, I might as well just go to Tokyo, because they are... Like, there has to be... Like, it's Tokyo, right? They have to have, like, a vintage, cult classic, Japanese cult classics movie store of some kind, right? They have to. That's just a thing they have to have somewhere. In Helsinki? No, I don't see them having, like, a Finnish store of Finnish cult classics, maybe. But in Japan, yeah, there has to be something like that, right? There has to be something like that. So yeah, I don't know. But again, it's like, if I get it in Japan, it's probably not going to be subtitled in English. Probably not. I can't see that being the case. Which means I should probably... Well, I am already learning Japanese, but you know, I want to get better. But, you know, that's also a very easy trap to fall into. Thinking that, like, I just need to get a little better before I start doing the things I want to do. And when you do that, you end up just never doing the things you want to do. Right? Such a bad philosophy to have with language. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of just jumping into it, just completely drowning yourself in it from the get-go. Why do you want to learn the language? Is it because you want to watch some cult movies? Yeah, then you start learning the language by watching those cult movies. And you can rewatch them, sure, but like, don't hold that in front of you as like the thing you will eventually get to, because you will never feel ready. You just never will. In my experience at least. Of course, people are different. Some people might reach a point where they naturally feel like, yeah, it's time, but for me it's just better to do it in the beginning. I remember when I was learning German, like, I took German in school for like 5 years, and the first 3 of those years were like, I didn't learn much, and then I, like, 4th and 5th year German kind of had a reputation in my school for being hard, right? Being really like a jump in difficulty. So I spent that summer just watching Let's Plays, like Minecraft Let's Plays in German. I watched German movies. I tried to read some German books. You know, at that point I did already have the foundations for German, but it worked, you know? And yeah, I didn't get all of it instantly, right? I read Faust during that summer, I believe, or sometime, like, around that time, right? I read Faust. Didn't really get it. I didn't really understand it because, again, my German wasn't perfect, but honestly, I learned a lot of German from it. I'll probably read that again at some point. Because it is such a classic, right? It is one of those big ones, and I know the basic plot of Faust, don't get me wrong, I know it. I know what it's about. But yeah, and I read Kafka. I remember I mentioned that to my teacher. He was flabbergasted. He was absolutely gobsmacked, stunned. He did not know how to respond to that. Obviously, no other student had ever taken that kind of initiative before. Obviously, which is weird because Kafka is kind of one of those authors, you know? He's not some weird, like, I don't know. I feel like he has a little bit of a pop culture, well, maybe not pop culture, maybe it's just me being on Tumblr too much, but I feel like Kafka isn't that weird of an author to know. 221,000. I am very, very surprised that I've managed 2 successful runs on hardcore endless. That is very impressive to me. I did not... Man, I gotta tell you, there's something about... Like, it's very obvious that I play better with while I'm talking. Because when I play normally, alone, quietly, I have a hard time paying enough attention to it, but when I'm talking, it's just enough, man. It's just enough of an attention split. It's like, just enough. Should I do a flashing lights warning for this? I don't know. I just work better when I can split my attention a little bit, I feel. I'm just better at paying attention when I can kind of pay it in a couple directions at once. Is there another update planned for this game? I haven't seen anything. I feel like I would have heard about that if there was, right? By the way I'm doing this is I'm doing increments of 20,000 per group, just so I kind of spread it around evenly a little bit. Is there an update planned? I haven't heard about that. It would make sense though that, like, for an update to come at some point. I mean, we just had a huge one, so obviously I'm not expecting it to come quickly, but like, you already have Myth and Council and Gamers and Gen Zero. Are we getting like ID? Are we getting Hollow Stars? Oh man, I hope we get Hollow Stars. I hope we get Hollow Stars. That would be so fun. I saw that music video they did, We Are Hollow Stars. Oh, it's so fun. It's such a fun video. It's such a fun song. Genuinely just really fun. And I love the stars in Tempest specifically. I know I've talked about Tempest before, but man, I love Tempest. Man, I love Tempest a lot. And their, like, specifically their relationship with the others. Ollie's birthday karaoke, okay? Just Ollie's birthday karaoke. I mean, everyone was so great. Everyone. So many Holocure talents and so many indies. And, like, non-holo pro, right? But Tempest coming in with a quartet, and Ollie coming in, making it a quintet. Oh, I love those boys so much. I love those boys so much. It's kind of rare for me to feel so strongly about a group of people that I, by all rights, do not know, but man. They have done a lot of stuff, right? Desk collabing with Iron Mouse. Oh, great. Just phenomenal. So many collabs, and anytime Voltaire and Kobo do anything, so good. Literally every single time. Just always delightful. The Valorant collabs. I am kind of in the middle of watching the VOD of the Mario Party one. Des, Vesper, Crony, and Callie. It's so good so far. It's so good. I had to take a little bit of a break though. But, oh man. I am so glad they're interacting with so many people. I am so glad that they're not just segregated and like cordoned off into their own little box, because they have such unbelievable chemistry with everyone. Oh man, and I also hope, this is kind of a selfish wish, and I'm not like, I don't want to force this to happen, but I would be happy if it did. I hope Vesper collabs with the rest of Council. Oh man, could you imagine Vesper meeting Fauna and Mumi? Oh, he would literally die on stream. Not clickbait. It's... man. Ugh. There we go. We just spent 221,000 holo coins. What sorts of levels are we looking at now? Have your guesses? Have your guesses ready? Here we go. 34, 30, 32, 34, 28, 33, 30, 31, 30, 39, 31, 31, 40, 42, 34, 39, 26, 39, 45, 32. With the tags I might even be able to get everyone over level like 30, right? Yeah, we're doing that. Yeah, we're doing that. Okay, Callie, 2 tags. $34, 30, 32, 34, 30. Okay, everyone on Myth is 30 plus. Nice. Council Rest 33, 30, 31, 30, 39, 31. So everyone on Council Rest is 30 plus. Gamers 31, 40, 42, 34. Yes, everyone on Gamers 30 plus. Makes sense, there are just 4 people. And if I spread that out evenly, obviously they're all gonna be slightly higher level. Gen 0, 39, 26, okay, ASCII, 39, 45, 32. So ASCII needs 4. Two, 3, 4. Yeah. God Damn, look at Suisei. Just... Wow. 45. Level 45. Kyle level 42. Yeah. Yeah, I've leveled literally everyone up to 30 plus. Several are in their 40s. Nice. Nice. I was not expecting that, but I think that's a pretty good point to end at. I feel like that's a pretty good point to end at. I have been Cordelia Colt. You have been my lovely audience. This has been Holocure. And I have been having a lot of fun, honestly. I'll see you. I'll probably not stream for, like, during the weekend too much. Probably not. There's some stuff coming up. But next week, probably. We'll see. We'll see. Well, that's it for me. Goodbye.